That was the great thing about what George Burns was saying. He's like, I'd rather be a failure at something I love than be successful at something that it really doesn't fill me or make me. He's happy. He said, when I was poor and I was still a comedian, he's like, I was happy every day. Yeah. So it makes sense that when he became famous, he would still be happy because he was happy when it wasn't. He didn't have all those things.
Well, we're waiting.
Daniel's got a new boyfriend, Stevie. He's in jail though.
Somebody's calling my phone. Oh my god! I fucking get my number changed at this point, but maybe it'll die off. But someone's calling my phone like 14 times a day. It's the exact same number, and then text messages started coming in
about jail.
Right. Some person's in jail, and they want somebody to send something.
You should just text back and write, I'm gonna send this to the FBI. I'll get you some help. They'd be like, what? Who's this?
They trace it back to me. I'm like, what is going on here? But now the person, they're texting now, and I'm like,
I think it's that.
Do I text back?
I mean, can you tell the number?
The number's different though. Okay. Should I get my number changed? I don't know if I should or not. But they started talking about jail. I was like, oh, I don't know nothing about that. Not me.
We're back.
Okay, so we're back, you guys. We're going to answer the question. We didn't, we're just going to make this split this up. Split this video up. Okay, so Daryl, he says, hi ladies, I saw this question online and wanted to present it to you. Do you think everyone is meant to be successful?
I think that if you're saying is everybody meant to be successful, no. Can everybody be successful? Yeah. Yes. I think you can be. I think anybody can be successful. I mean, there are people who are successful and lost it towards the end of their life. You know what I mean? So, and also you have to define what success is.
Yeah, that's what
automatically everybody's going to go to money and career. No one's going to go to like love, family, having children, you know what I mean? Losing weight. Like there are things where
like people
success falls in it. And believe me, money and career is great, but it should not be the only place you're successful at.
It's actually very important that you don't start there.
Yeah.
You really have to start with who you are as a person and keep that part grounded. Because a lot of people, think about the Amish. Their idea of success is not at all material in that way, right? They like comfort, stability. They like to be, content. So you do have to kind of figure out how you measure it.
Success is a funny thing because it's not just one thing.
Yeah,
because really like people say Oprah's successful, but do you really want to be Oprah?
But
no,
do you want,
I don't.
Yeah,
so
do you want
you know
that?
what I mean? I don't want that. You know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying? Like George Burns. I was just watching George Burns. The old comedian before he died. His big line was always, I'd rather. He's like, for 15 years of my success, I was a failure to other people, but to me, I wasn't. So if you would have looked at him, you would have thought, before he was George Burns, that we all know, you would have thought he was unsuccessful. But he didn't feel like that. Right. He felt like he was successful. And he did eventually become successful. But his line has always been, I'd rather be I'd rather be a failure at something I love than be successful at something I hate. And so I think that a lot of times, especially in America, we're success driven in this country. And I'm talking about Jay-Z, Beyonce, that kind of money. So we use those people as this is where you want to be. But let's be honest, a lot of people do get to those places and they almost regret it because it takes over them. You think of people like Robin Williams who committed suicide.
So everyone looks at him and think, oh my gosh, this successful man. There's more money, more problems. Right. So we got that whole thing going on, right?
Because many people are alcoholics. And look, poor people are too. Alcoholics, drug users, and they have all this money, and they have all this fans people like, but then they don't really like themselves. So the thing is like you have to measure, success is really personal. I tend to think most things are personal. Religion, politics, and success. Because honestly, I really don't want to be Oprah or Jay-Z or Beyonce personally. Now,
even if I think about it on a more personal level, like, so the measure of success when it comes to, especially America and how we think with the whole celebrity culture and money and all that stuff. So outwardly, me personally, to most people, I think many people, I would not be successful. Right. I don't have all the bling bling and all the stuff. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that I don't want to better my situation and my circumstance. Of course not. Like, you should always be trying to progress in your life, I think. And I'm always going to be trying to progress in, parts of my life. But I will say, even though I don't have those things, I still feel successful. And I think the reason, I mean, like, that's why you have to measure it.
And that's all that matters, though.
Yeah, because I think that what it is that I feel like when you make a choice in your life, right, when you pursue that choice and you have goals that align with that choice, right, and then you're doing that, I think that you're already successful.
I do, yeah.
And the other stuff comes later. So, like, do I want to be more comfortable when it comes financially? Yeah, 100%. Do I want more of this and that and the other? These things that
But you don't need to be Oprah money to have.
I don't need
this
that.
Is the thing. If I met a man who was very ambitious, I would be okay helping him with that,
right?
Because that's his dream. My dream isn't that. My dream would more likely be like a mom or be at home or something like that. But that would be my success,
right?
He would have to help me with that. You understand? But he wouldn't want to be what I'm doing. He would consider if he had to do it, he probably consider that a failure to him because that's not his dream. You understand? You know what I mean? So it's just like it's one of those things where I remember Mike Tyson. He said when he went to jail, he actually felt like that was the best time because he had solitude, and when he was he said when I had all that money and I had Don King and I had all these fights, he said people thought I was on top of the world, but I was also drinking a lot, doing drugs, and he was just like, so once I went to prison, he's like, as bad as this sounds, as crazy as this sounds, I actually had time separation from the world. For a while, you know what I mean? And so when he was talking to Joe Rogan about this, Joe Rogan was like, do you ever work out? At this point he wasn't working out very much anymore. He said, why? He said, because it works on my ego, and my ego usually gets the best of me. And so do you understand? Like, I get that. You know what I mean? I like Mike Tyson. I think that he's a lot smarter. Because people like to make fun of his like slurs and stuff, but I think that he's very smart to me. You know what I mean? And I think when you've lived a life like that, I think wisdom comes to you. Yeah. A lot. I mean, even getting older, you get wisdom just by default.
I appreciate people who are willing to share wisdom like that. So that's what about Mike Tyson is that he and people like him that learn something in his life is willing to share it and help us understand his type of success and what it means to have it. Because even like that famous Jim Carrey quote where he talks about I wish everybody could have all the money, the cars, be rich and famous like I am, so they can see that that's not the answer. Right. Because people automatically, we're in a celebrity culture now. So Karen and I talk a lot about celebrity culture. And on some level, I like celebrity. I like to be entertained. So I'm not going to be mad at celebrities for being celebrities. But I do think that when it comes down to laymen, we have to be careful of measuring our success only by what we see outwardly, because I think there's a lot of there's a parts of you that are successful that you don't think are, because you're only measuring success off of what you see on Instagram and TV, and you watch the Oscars. Oh my gosh, look at all these a group of successful people here and a lot of these people, not all of them, sure, but a lot of them are miserable.
Well, there used to be back in the day. I mean, even now, when they said the worst thing you do, like if you go to Wall Street, a lot of those brokers and stuff, when they lose all their money, they kill themselves. And so you think because someone has so much and they've accumulated so much that also becomes a trap, because then if you don't hold on to it, that becomes because having money then, if you're not careful, can be your esteem.
That's why you have to look outside of the things, but I don't think that it's right for like successful people who are rich to be made to feel bad about that. You know what I mean? Like people go, oh my gosh, just because you have money in a car doesn't mean that you're. It's like no, but that is kind of like what's the word? That's the getting the money and the car and the home and all that. That is kind of like the rewards of your whatever passion you did, and here we are with this. So you shouldn't feel bad about having all that kind of stuff.
Sometimes you get, like I was watching. Remember when Kevin Hart cheated on his now wife? But they took that picture of him in that limousine. Yeah. And he didn't know he was being photographed. But he looked pretty bad. Yeah, and here's a guy at that point. Well, first of all, he wasn't married to his first wife. He was married to what they call a hot girl. So he got the hot girl. I think she was pregnant at the time.
He got the high value girl.
The high value girl. And then here he is with this girl who is like a hooker or whatever in a car, and he's completely drunk.
So what's
And
going
out of his
on?
mind. And you think to yourself, but it's just the way he looked. It's just thought to myself, this guy should not look like this. But there's something in him that doesn't feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
Not even that hot wife could fulfill him. Not all this money could fulfill him. Somewhere he found himself in a car, vulnerable. The best thing he did was that he didn't get extorted. He went and told the truth.
Yeah.
That was the best thing he
They
did.
tried to extort
But
money
the
from him.
idea that a man at that part of his career that would be considered
that
high
level.
value, successful, would be caught in
Yeah.
that place.
At that level of his career.
And he
to
said,
be-
I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so how? Because we all think that when we get to there's an old show called Fantasy Island. And the wonderful thing, if you ever have time, you should watch a lot
Fantasy
of
Island's a good show.
But the Fantasy Island, the reason why I like that show is because the guy, for people who don't know, it's a show about an island that's a fantasy island, and then you have to pay the guy who owns the island money, and he makes your fantasy, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is, makes it come true. But the beauty of that show is that he doesn't just give you what you think the success that you, whatever you're wanting to get, whether you want to be a successful baseball player, he also gives you the down parts. So if you want to be a millionaire, he makes you that, and then he also gives you the down part. What also comes with that, and they always leave happier with their regular life.
Yeah, you know why though? It's because people are not people. This is why you have to be really. This is a good show to understand why you have to be specific on what you ask for.
Right.
Because what happens is people go, oh, I want to be
Sometimes
rich.
You get it.
I want to be rich and famous. People say, oh, I want to be rich and famous. Okay, so being you're rich and famous now, you weren't specific.
Yeah.
You didn't say I want to be rich and famous, but I want to have some balance in my home life. I want to have some comfortability here. I want to find a person that has you know what I mean? I want rich and famous. Well, there's a lot of crap that comes with that. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff. A lot of people are just trying to like you and know you because of who you are. You know, they just want things from you. You know, you have to always stay on top. There's a lot of pressure. You have to pay a lot of people. There's a lot of stuff that comes with that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't want it. I'm just saying that people don't really specifically ask what they want.
We were just watching a documentary on Sam Cooke the other day.
Yeah,
and Sam Cooke was at the pinnacle of his career. He had a lot of money, he had a beautiful wife, he had a big house, and then his last days were him in some seedy hotel,
some hooker.
you know, with some hooker. You know what I mean? It's like,
What? He was like on top of the world.
He was on top of the world. You know what I mean? It's like now
apparently.
people say a lot of things about what happened to him, but as I say, he went. So what got him? You know what brought
happened?
him to that point in his life? But you know, I love old music. So I'm talking about from the OJs. I love 70s and 60s music. So I watch a lot of documentary on all of those artists that I love so much, and a lot of them were on drugs. And a lot of them that aren't, because they're not as famous as they used to be anymore. A lot of them will say they feel more successful now because they've went through rehab and they have their life back. They may not have all the fame and glitz, and they still perform. They all still perform. They love the music, so they still perform. But see what I'm saying? Their success.
Yeah.
They'll say it all the time. Your success isn't always what you think it is.
It's true.
Be happy with what you have.
But if you don't have a lot, see, in this day and age, if you don't have a lot, you know, if you don't have the outward appearance is not there, then people will look down at you as if you're not successful, because we're only measuring it one way, and I think that's a dangerous thing. You know, I was watching y'all remember a long time ago when what's that guy's name? I do not know his name. Jeffrey Owens.
Oh yeah.
He's from a
Jesse?
different world. No.
Oh no, I didn't talk about the guy from the
Cosby Show. Played Elton.
Yeah.
Right. So when you guys remember when he worked at Trader Joe's, I think it was, and someone noticed him and they took a picture of him, and a lot of people were making fun of him and putting him down because he's working. And you know what people don't understand, I think, is that the entertainment industry is very fickle, and there are going to be times like that, you know, times like that where you just, you know, he needed to get some insurance. He needs, like trying to live his life. But the thing is that what's funny is his response to it, because he was just like, I didn't think of it as like I'm a failure.
Right.
But everyone was thinking he's like a failure. I mean, like, shout out to all his, like, you know, his colleagues and people that in the industry that were
who
just
also
like,
understand
they understand the balance of this. Yeah. And so he was like, it's funny because I never thought of myself as not successful. I just work at Trader Joe's, and because you saw me on TV with Bill Cosby, you would think that I must be in this situation, but it's not really. It's just me paying for my family. Like I'm still a man. I still
Yeah.
got paid for my family. I got to do that. I got to raise these people. So I have people to raise here. So I can't just be out of work.
Yeah.
So I felt like that's a good example of a man who is mentally successful and is still going. He's still going, and I just think that it's not fair to This is this is not right.
But it's like the guy. They remember that old group Peaches and Herb. Okay, well Herb.
Yeah.
I watched their documentary, and Herb. They had a really. They had what you call a album success, where it's Shake Your Groove thing, like that was reunited.
Right.
So, but he said I was never. He said he went back to a regular job.
Yeah.
And he said I wasn't one of those people gonna be a starving artist. I don't mind people meet me.
Yeah.
I'm working. That's how I look at things. He's like, that's just how I look at things. He was just like, but a lot of people will look at me and think you're not successful. You had an album. You were on you were on Soul Train. You were hanging out with the Muckety Mucks. And he was just like, yeah, and I'm proud of that. And now that's over. Right. And I have to go to work. I mean, that's how you need to live in life. That's how that's someone that's to me that's boss.
Yeah.
If you could walk around like that, and he's like, yeah, this is where I am. This is where I work. I'm proud of that.
I still have a purpose.
Too, but I also want to. I still do music, but this is how I pay my bills. And
there's really nothing wrong with that. And I think that this is what we have to get. I mean, like I said, you should always want to improve if you want to. If you feel like that's the improvement, then why does that have to be the end all and be all? But it's only because we're only looking at it in one way. And I think that as a society, we really have to stop putting these weird markers on you made it. You know what I mean? Like, you made it. Like, we understand that someone, like a famous entertainer that's really rich and made it. We see.
And look how hard we pushed the bar up, because in the 1950s and 60s, making it was having like a 3-bedroom house, being able to take 2 vacations a year, being able to send your kids to college, and most men could pay for an entire household on their income with kids and a wife.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when they got that success, they felt successful.
Yeah, because
now you got to be freaking Jay-Z, or if you're not, if you're a man that doesn't have that kind of money, you're not successful anymore. That's crazy.
You have to have some big 4-car garage,
and you got to be driving around.
And again, nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that the measure of success, that's not everyone's idea of successful.
You are anybody who has, your life together, as far as you what people consider just regular life. Yeah. Consider that success. You're right. Because you are. That's just how I feel. That's why I don't like this high value thing, because I think sometimes it distorts. It distorts what high value really is. As long as you're alive, you're valuable.
Well, you still have a purpose,
right?
And I think that's what happens, is that people are following other people's idea of what your purpose is supposed to be, and I'm just saying that you're supposed to follow what your purpose is supposed to be, and not everyone's purpose is to have a mansion on the top of the hill somewhere with 4 cars and blah blah. That's some people's purpose, but I think that some people's value in this life, in this world, is not all that pretentious. I think a lot of the winners are the ones who are living normal.
And everybody who has a mansion, though, isn't living happy. Just because you see someone living some sort of life you maybe wish you could try to live, does not mean that they're happy. It may. But it doesn't also mean that. And also, if you're happy, to me, that's success. Yeah. That's what I was saying in the beginning. Is that I'm not, that's what I'm trying to say. Is that to most people, when you look at my life, I would not be outwardly successful. Okay? You're not going to see some big house and a couple cars. Your hair was a success.
My hair.
Your hair was a success.
Thank you. Shut up, Kara. But outwardly, I wouldn't be considered successful, right?
I would consider you outwardly.
Society-wise, society,
I'm just a little more deeper.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that I think people need to be more deeper. Life humbles you.
See, that's another thing.
It changes.
Is that life humbles you as you get older, and you start to see that even people who get those things, they get older too, and life humbles them. Yeah, because wasn't Steve Harvey once said? No, maybe it wasn't Steve Harvey. Somebody who had maybe it was Steve Harvey. He said, when you first become wealthy, you buy all these cars. Then when you have money for a while, you realize I only can sit down on one. I don't need all these cars. These will just become bills after a while. You know what I mean? He's just like, you don't need 30,000 houses and you don't need all this stuff. It's nice to have this stuff, but it doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't mean anything. It just means that you made a little bit more money.
Yeah, I've never been rich, but I've been comfortable.
Yeah.
I've been pretty comfortable before in my life.
I
I lived in a world before where I was more comfortable, had more money, made more money, was doing pretty well. You know what I mean, in life. And then you guys know the kind of bottom fell out. You know what I mean? And then we were homeless and broke and all that happened, right? We rebuilt our life. And I feel like
but before you would have thought our life was successful.
Because we had the things.
We lived in the big city.
In the big city.
We lived in Manhattan.
Had
and
the money.
We had all our things and stuff. And I wasn't successful.
And I wasn't happy either, by the way. I wasn't happy. And then this happens. You realize that you need to be stripped down to the very essence of yourself. Sometimes you have to be stripped down of all of your things. You know what I mean? And to get down to who you are, because it turns out, that surprise, I'm more happy now. Although I want more, I'm unhappy. I'm more happy.
But I am glad all those things are gone.
Well, because I was attaching
I wanted it to be gone.
But I was attaching my worth to all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so when that stuff got taken away, I was I had to fill myself back up, which means I was empty.
But you have to fill your soul back up, not your surroundings. Your surroundings will come back.
Yeah, all that stuff.
It'll all come back. But if you know what I mean?
Houses and cars are always going to be sold.
Right. And that's why I think now, if you would have asked me 20 years ago about success, I probably would, what I say, if everybody be successful, I would say no.
Different. Yeah.
I would say no.
Yeah.
But now I realize that success is not really the outer things all the time. It's kind of a dual thing. It's what we accumulate from the out and the in. You know what I mean? And just because you have a lot of things on the outside doesn't mean that you could be emotionally and your soul could be bankrupt. So there are a lot of things you have to sacrifice to be successful. And there are a lot of things that you have that will be a burden with your success. Because, like Danielle said, there are a lot of people who become very successful and they find that they don't have friends. They found friends a lot when they were broke. Because people like you don't have anything to give anyone as far as monetary. Right. But when you get money and you get a name, then everybody wants to be friends with you. And then if you don't keep that name, you'll lose everybody. And that's generally what happens to people. Once they lose everything, they also lose everybody. I
think I'm just more deep.
Yeah.
So I just like to look at, I think that society, we have to redefine what we're saying success is. Because I'm not excluding success when it comes to the all these physical things that we can have, right? When it comes to that, I'm not excluding that. I do get trust. I do understand that if you're in a place in your life where you have achieved finances to the point where you can own a large home, or just a home, and own some cars, fancy. You can get some nice bracelets or nice earrings. You can get some jewelry. I'm not excluding that's you've reached a level of success. All I'm saying is that those things are just rewards.
Make sure you check off more boxes.
Yeah, those things are just rewards. To me. Now, to other people, that is the success. But to me, I just feel like those things are just rewards as to how you became successful. But to me, when it comes down to you identifying yourself as being successful, I think that starts. You have to start talking about inside stuff now.
That was the great thing about what George Burns was saying. He's like, I'd rather be a failure at something I love than be successful at something that it really doesn't fill me or make me. He's happy. He said, when I was poor and I was still a comedian, he's like, I was happy every day. Yeah. So it makes sense that when he became famous, he would still be happy because he was happy when it wasn't. He didn't have all those things. He that's how he saw things.
I mean, I'm happier now. I've never been at that level of success, but just in my world of what's the level of success, I'm now happier being more of a minimalist. And I think that's only because I was able to really do real work on myself.
Yeah. And I like material things, but not at the expense of my happiness. If I feel like it's taking away something, or or just you know what I mean, like when I just bought it to just be buying it, or you know what I mean, or just something where say you meet someone who's like a man who makes a lot of money and he just showers you and stuff, but you don't really like him. Yeah, I don't really want it. I'm saying it's only fun if you like the guy. Yeah, I think success is not as easy as we like it to be. Like we think it's
not just one thing.
We think it's this like level that we can visually see.
And that's because of the celebrity lifestyle we're all trying to live right now. Everyone's trying to look like them, be like them, live like them, you know, and those are not the only successful people in the world.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of teachers that would consider themselves to be extremely successful, and they're like kindergarten teachers. You know, why they consider themselves to be successful? Because they're framing and teaching the minds of the youth.
Yeah.
And so that is success right there if you ever do that. Now, they should be getting paid a hell of a lot more than they're getting paid, but this is what it is. And they're still wanting to do it. So I don't think there's just the bling bling is what makes you successful. And I don't think everyone is, I really don't think everyone's meant to be successful, because I don't think everyone's necessarily ready for it. You know what I mean? Like, just because you want to be successful, maybe you're necessarily ready for it yet. Just, you still have, there's some things you have to do in life to reach that point. So tell us what you think. Leave some comments below on success. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. And that's it. Everybody have a good day. Bye.